What's going on? This is Jordan Ross, and this is my origin story, specifically in coaching. So, my origin story, as I like to think of it, specifically around my coaching career, begins in Columbus, Ohio, hence why I'm wearing this sweatshirt. And it really began my junior year. My freshman, sophomore year, I was attending Ohio State, treating college like a normal student would, really invested in my grades, experience, pursuing internships, and really having a great time going to a lot of parties. And my junior year, a lot of things changed in the sense of the momentum of my life. So in my junior year, I had a lot of success in internships up until that point. I had an internship with Citigroup my freshman year, an internship with Limited Brands my sophomore year, and by October of my junior year, I already locked in an internship with PepsiCo. And from my perspective as a junior in college, I, thought, well, the whole point of college is to get a job. I have 3 internships. I'm going to be able to market myself extremely well. Next year, as a senior, I don't need to study anymore. So that's exactly what I did. I stopped studying, started partying a lot. And the thing that's funny that happened in that journey was I started to feel like crap. I started to be an alcoholic and stopped going to class that much. I stopped studying. I stopped doing homework. And I felt like I was worthless. And from that experience of feeling like crap, I start to seek out like a journey to better myself. And my great friend, Joe Sitzwell, a good friend to this day, turned me on to podcasting. In my second semester in March of my junior year, I started to read vigorously and podcast vigorously, where I stumbled upon some of my favorite teachers to this day, 2 of whom were really important to my journey. One was Lewis Howes, and the second was Jeff Woods. So Lewis, in my junior year, I remember hearing him say, when you're unsure of your journey, pursue skills. After my junior year, I went into my senior year looking to become, an employee of Amazon. I knew at that point in my life that I wanted to be a leader, be someone who built something massive, and live an amazing life. And I knew no matter where I ended up, I had to do that by being a leader. I interviewed with Amazon. I got a job with Amazon as an area manager with my full intent to learn the skills of leadership, communication, and just how to inspire other people. At that same time, I stumbled upon an amazing person called Jeff Woods in my junior year. And just remember that name because in a few minutes I'll be bringing him back up. So after I graduated Ohio State, I started working for Amazon as an area manager in Columbus, Ohio. I launched the inbound department for what would be the highest volume building in the entire world of fulfillment or warehousing. I was managing over 100 associates by my 6th month outside of Ohio State, and I was horrible. I was so bad. I struggled so much with how to manage a large facility, run an operation. I didn't have any skills or habits or mindsets to run and be successful, deliver results. On top of that, I didn't know how to earn trust in a way that inspired people to work hard or do the things that were right that I wanted them to do. And that's when Jeff Woods really started to influence my life. I've been listening to Jeff Woods since my junior year of college. When I was in college, he was actually running a podcast called The Mentee, but had since moved on to a new podcast called The One Thing. Jeff had been hired on to be the vice president of The One Thing, which is a book, a New York Times bestseller written by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan, and they're actually starting a training company specifically around the principles of that book. I started to listen to Jeff and start to apply the principles of The One Thing to my experience at work. I was failing because I didn't know how to prioritize and standardize my routine, reverse engineer success, and I was micromanaging my employees. I wasn't guiding them to better, successful lives. So Jeff taught me through his training, which I ended up joining his team. I got training through their online webinars. Jeff taught me how to reverse engineer success. He taught me how to purposefully build habits to better myself as a human and as a professional. and how to lead others through asking questions. And I remember it was December of 2016 was when I started to ask open-ended questions to help guide other people to results that I wanted them to deliver, but I wanted them to self-actualize it for themselves. And from that experience and Jeff's guidance, I started to succeed massively at Amazon. I went from almost being on a PIP, which is a performance improvement plan, in March of 2017, to delivering the best performing team in all of Amazon's North American fulfillment by November of 2017. And at the same time, I started to really change the way people around me thought. I started to ask open-ended questions and sprinkle encouragement, and the people who reported to me started to change drastically, and it became infectious. So Jeff, in all of his infinite wisdom, continued to talk amazing lessons on his podcast, and he talked about coaching a lot. And there was one episode with him and Ryan Daniel Moran where he was coaching him, and I heard a coaching conversation. I was like, that is exactly what I want to do. I want to help guide someone self-actualize a more serving and successful path and really be of service. I had a friend at that same time when I was talking about, coaching. She had actually become a coach professionally. She got trained through an institution called IPEC, and she told me, you should join us in IPEC. And in December of 2017, I gave IPEC a call. I instantly dedicated myself to joining IPEC, and in March of 2018, I started my journey as a person who was going through professional coach training. That training lasted 9 months, where when I started in March of 2018, it was the first time in my life outside of being with my fiance, Taylor, who at the time was not my fiance, outside of any moments with her where I felt like I was in the perfect place at the exact time I needed to be. And that was unlike anything I've ever experienced. I knew for a fact I was meant to be there, and I was standing in a room of over 50 people. We were sitting, I was standing, and the most amazing thing happened. For the first time in my life, where in my journey up until that point, I had to work so hard to be good at anything I wanted to be. Sports and school did not come naturally for me. I worked my ass off to be great at them. Friends, too. Growing up, I was bullied, and that I had to work to be good with people. Amazon started to fail when I started working with them. But coaching was the first time in my life when I was introduced to something new, where I instantly was great at it. Everyone was gravitating towards me in that coaching room in New York in 2018. And I just knew I found my niche. I found what it is that I can be the best at in the world. Which feels great to say. In December of 2018, I finished my certification with IPEC, and I started working with clients professionally. Now in August, I've worked with 3 clients who have taken them through my 90-day package, my 3-month package up until this point. And in 2019, I've had the pleasure of pursuing mastery in coaching, where I know, I'll never stop doing this. Everyone I've worked with who I've taken through my full package, who through my full training experience, has drastically changed their lives, 180. And when I say masterful, I mean it's never going to end, but I know what I do works well because I've done it with multiple people with many different things. So that brings me to present day, where 2 weeks ago I was looking for a new opportunity within coaching because life coaching with millennials has been great. I've been working with millennials all of 2019 who are struggling with their happiness, mindset, self-worth, and confidence, and partnering with them to remove all of their blocks and build new habits, routines, and mindsets that empower them to live amazing lives. And that's been really difficult to market and find clients because people in that sphere do not want to be heard or seen. They want to hide. And it only takes someone who's really struggling to start to say, hey, I need help. So 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago at this point, I was looking for a new opportunity because I was real. This has been a pretty difficult year in terms of inbound clients because, like I said, men in my generation don't want help. They want to ignore their issues. And entrepreneurship has been something I've been passionate about for as long as I can remember. I remember being a young child and looking up at my trees in my backyard thinking, I want to build something. I want to be remembered. And I got in contact and I found this man called Jake Dreyfus on LinkedIn. And I sent him an email telling him how I resonated with his message, resonated with who he was, and I want to sit down with him. Jake is currently the director of coaches at Maps Business Coaching, which is a sister company of Keller Williams, which is a sister company and equity partners with The One Thing, Jeff Woods, right? So I sat down with Jake. We had an unbelievable conversation. And Jake invited me to Salt Lake City to partake in their training for MAPS. And that's where I am today. I got back from Salt Lake City 4 days ago. And I am now here on my journey to impact the entrepreneur, to impact and help guide the entrepreneur to be an amazing, successful, confident leader who will inspire others and serve others to make an impact in this world. So, although that's my first go around of actually saying it, I know I'm born for this. There's a few things I know in my life, and the first is I know that I'm meant to be with my fiance, the love of my life, and I know I'm meant to coach. I'm meant to guide and serve others. And I will do this until the day I die. Thanks.